What's going on? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about silent killer, codependency. See, in this life today, many times we may focus on the opinions of others that we may see as special in our own personal lives, whether it be our family members, friends, or associates. We hold these people's opinions high in our personal lives because we may see those people as more useful than us, more valuable than us, or more special than us. We may not understand our own gifts, our own visions, our talents in this life, so we decide that we want to put these people's value before our own value in this life. First, we have to understand and identify the value that we may bring to this life. We have to understand the importance of our own personal lives and the importance of self-worth. If we don't understand the importance of self-worth, we may follow behind people who do not have self-worth. We may follow behind people who do not have value within themselves. We may follow behind people who may see themselves as better than us, when in reality, they are not better than us. We have to understand that in this life, it is important that we see self as important, as valuable, and we have to understand that yes, we all have our own situations to default that may stop us from actually understanding ourselves in the beginning. But as we go through life, and as we understand life, and as we understand our path, our mission, and our purpose, we have to see the value in ourselves. When we start focusing on self and stop focusing on other people and stop focusing on other people's opinions, then we start to do for self. When we understand that when we're codependent on others, people may have the ability to alter our lives in a negative way. When someone sees that they have control over your life and control of the decisions in their life, it's not always a good thing. You may have interests, passions, and pursuits that you want to pursue, and this person, because they feel that they're better than you and they feel that their opinion trumps your opinion, they may tell you not to do this, they may tell you not to do that, they may tell you not to pursue this or not to pursue that. Granted, sometimes it can be in good faith where people know and understand these things beforehand, so they're just really trying to help you and they really have your best interests at heart. But there's also other people who see your gifts and your talents, who don't want you to know and understand your gifts and your talents, who don't want you to actually pursue the passion and purpose that the Most High has placed you in this life to pursue. Oftentimes when you're codependent on these people, you may ask these people for advice. You may take their advice before your own advice to yourself. You may put these people's opinions in high regard instead of understanding what you want to do in this life, instead of understanding the value that you bring in this life. And when you live your life like that, it's hard to break out of that system when you are older. It's hard to break out of that mind frame when you are far much older. And the thing is, when you continue to live like that, you never formulate your own opinion. You never are able to actually walk in faith. You always depend on somebody else to get something done for you. And you're never dependent on self. You're never independent. You're never doing anything from a mind frame of independence. And when you start to actually walk in a position where you are following behind other people, then you start to groupthink. You never have the ability to think for yourself. Any situation or scenario that you get into, you have to depend on somebody else to make that situation and scenario better for you. You have to follow behind who you perceive as better than you, and you have to listen to that person constantly on a day-to-day basis. Any situation that may occur with that person or people, you just blindly follow behind those people because you haven't built up an independent system for yourself. And when you haven't built up an independent system for yourself, then any situation and scenario, you're going to blindly believe it because you don't have the independent thinking within yourself. So you just believe anything. And oftentimes, when you walk like this and you're a person that walks like this, you may get caught into situations where you don't even know what's going on and you're just following just to follow, and you end up looking like the unintelligent person when you do this. Instead of sitting, thinking, and actually thinking for self, and actually taking the time to train your mind to independently think is the best thing, because when you get into scenarios and situations, because we're all going to get into scenario and situations in this life, you're able to think for yourself, you're able to formulate a proper opinion and a proper understanding, and you're able to actually navigate this world being an individual that thinks for self. Being an individual that thinks for self is the best thing that can possibly be done, because when you start to think for yourself, you start to walk in faith, you start to walk in courage, you start to walk in confidence, and confidence is important. When you are not thinking for self, you are not confident. You are not at your fullest potential. Just imagine having to constantly follow behind somebody else because you aren't able to think for yourself. Just imagine having to always have to depend on somebody else to get something done for you because you cannot think for yourself. Just imagine the thought process that you may place yourself in because you are not able to do anything for self. Some people are fine with this, but over time, we have to understand that when you constantly call on somebody, when you constantly are depending on somebody, those people never respect you. Those people never have the ability in their mind frame to put you first. Those people may put you on the back burner because they see that you cannot think for yourself. They see that you aren't able to actually process information for yourself. And essentially, those people may just use you as a tool for destruction. Yes, there are people in this world that use other people as pawns and tools for destruction because they know that they are not thinkers for themselves. And we have to break out of that system and that cycle because it is very dangerous to be in that mind frame. When we are constantly in that mind frame, what we are telling ourselves and telling others is we cannot operate in this life without somebody being around us, without somebody governing us. And in this life, we have to understand that there's people who want that. There's people that want to see you lower because there are people in this world that are competitive and they compete subconsciously. But we have to understand that in this life that we have to take our lives in our own account, because who's going to care for our lives more than we do? Others are not going to care for our life more than we do if we don't care for our life. We have the ability to care for our own lives, and we have to understand this early, because if we don't understand this early, then we don't care for our lives. Then we don't do the things in our life to put us forward. Then we don't do the things in our life to put us in the best mind frame. It is important that we understand this early, because if we understand this too late, we can essentially be destroyed. It is important that we look at our lives on a constant day-to-day basis, analyze our lives as we are moving forward, whether it be in the time frame of days, weeks, months, or years. Understand your behavioral patterns, understand yourself, being self-aware, understand what you need to do to put yourself in the best position forward, and change up scenarios and situations that you may be going through in your own personal life internally. Look at challenges in your own personal life and try to defeat those challenges independently. When you have the feeling of wanting to be dependent on somebody else, try to actually maintain your independence by figuring it out on your own. Try figuring it out on your own. Try speaking to God about the situation before you call on somebody else. You know, sometimes there may be situations where you may have to do your research about it. Do your research. Understand that the internet is there for us to understand how to do things on our own independently. And we have the ability to focus fully on independence. It is not bad to call on people for help, but don't constantly call on people. Only call on people for help when you really, really need help, and there's no other option but for you to ask somebody else. There's always options in this life that we can use to our advantage before calling on somebody else, but it's best that we understand those advantages before depending on somebody else to help us with the thing that we rightfully so have to get done in our own personal lives today. So today, I'll be leaving you with this scripture, and I hope that this scripture can help you in your own daily personal life today. Psalms 37, 4-6. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. He will bring forth your righteousness as the light, and your justice as the noonday. I want to thank you for watching today and this life today, and understand that you have the ability to be independent in your own personal life today, seeking the Most High and continuing to renew your mind on this path, mission, journey today. Peace.